Good morning, everybody, and welcome on a beautiful Friday morning. My name is Chris Pokrivnak, and I serve as a member of the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and as a Regional Vice President of Vystar Credit Union. I will be your host and moderator for this morning's panel discussion. A series of 3 workshops brought to you as a collaboration between the Chamber and Vystar. We're pleased to bring you this financial wellness workshop, resources to assist your business and employees. This morning, I have the pleasure of moderating a panel of distinguished experts who will share resources and insights to assist you, your business, and employees. So let's go ahead and meet our panelists. Today, we're joined by Thaddeus Hammond, an economic development specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration's North Florida District Office. Thaddeus collaborates and interacts with federal economic development agencies, resource partners, partner agencies, local chambers of commerce, local and regional government entities, local economic development organizations, business associations, small businesses, educational institutions, and civic and community organizations on a number of initiatives. Mr. Hammond's SBA travels have taken him from the Washington Metropolitan Area District Office to the North Florida District Office, Louisiana District Office, and back to the North Florida District Office. So well traveled there, Thaddeus. Prior to his work with the SBA, Mr. Hammond spent 16 years as a successful senior business development manager for a defense contractor whose clients included the Department of Defense, federal and state government agencies, and large prime contracting firms. Thaddeus, thank you, and we're glad that you could join us this morning. I also have the pleasure of introducing Sharif White. Sharif joined Vystar Credit Union in 2018. In addition to his role as an assistant branch manager in St. Johns County, he also serves as a Vystar at Work representative, helping deliver financial wellness seminars to the community. He holds a bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in business administration from the University of West Florida. Sharif volunteers with Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, the United Way, and has served as an event chair for the March of Dimes. Sharif, thank you for sharing your time with us today. And finally, I am pleased to introduce James, also known to us as Trey Beberry. Trey is a graduate of the University of North Florida and holds a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in finance. He has worked in various roles within the credit union since 2014. He became an LPL investment advisor representative and an LPL registered representative in 2017. Since then, he has been helping credit union members pursue their goals by taking a comprehensive approach to investing and planning for any stage of life. When Trey is not helping Vystar Credit Union members work towards their financial goals, he enjoys spending family time with his wife and 2 kids, cycling and attending sporting events. Trey, welcome. Before we begin today's workshop, I'd like to explain our format a little bit. We will begin with a panel discussion and ask that our audience submit your questions at any time using the chat feature. And if you're not sure where that is, if you scroll over your screen, it's at the bottom, there's a little chat bubble there for you. We will field questions throughout the discussion, and then following the discussion, we will open the floor for a final Q&A period. Before we conclude, we invite our audience to join our panelists for a virtual networking session and an opportunity to interact with our panelists and fellow participants. Now, for the really important stuff, I'm going to go ahead and turn it right over to you, Thaddeus Hammond, to get our discussion started.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Chris. As you stated, I'm Thaddeus Hammond. I'm an economic development specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration's North Florida District Office here in Jacksonville. And on behalf of our acting district director, Lakita Henderson, I'd like to thank you all for inviting us to participate in this morning's financial wellness webinar. The U.S. Small Business Administration's core mission is to help small businesses start, grow, expand, and recover after disaster. To that end, the COVID-19 pandemic has hit us like nothing we've ever seen before. But the U.S. Small Business Administration, the U.S. Treasury, and the Congress formed a plan to help our small businesses in this regard. Born from the CARES Act was the Paycheck Protection Program and Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The PPP, as we call it, or EIDL as the other one's called, PPP was mainly focused on payroll and a means by which employees can maintain payroll, keep employees on their payroll, while still having them not feel as much hurt and harm from the pandemic. To date, the Small Business Administration has processed more loans in this last 2-month time frame than we've probably processed in the last 10 to 13 years. Through the end of July, we processed over 5 million PPP loans, totaling over $520 billion. And in the state of Florida, we've processed over 408,000 loans for the PPP, totaling over $31 billion. So to that end, I think it's been successful for us. And I just want to talk a little bit about features of the loan and where we are and some of the resources available to help you guys out. If you are a small business as defined by the SBA's Code of Federal Regulation, and that's based on what is called a NAICS code, or North American Industry Classification System code, you qualify. Or if you have 500 employees or fewer, you qualify for the PPP program. Keep it in mind, and I hope all of you have already gone to your financial institution, because tomorrow is the last day for PPP. But if you are a nonprofit, if you are an independent contractor, a sole proprietor, it doesn't matter if you are a church or agricultural organization, self-employed folks, you qualify for the PPP. And the reason the PPP is important is the plan was to ensure that there was a program in place that allowed you to be made whole, but by the same token, have a feature that also allowed for loan forgiveness. A lot of people call it a grant. It's not a grant, it's loan forgiveness, and it's the loan is forgivable based on a number of factors. But just some features of the loan. There's a 1% interest rate on the PPP, terms up to 5 years with a $10 million ceiling. These loans are 100% guaranteed by the SBA, and why that is important is our conventional loan packages, our flagship loans, the 7A and 504 loan programs, we guarantee $150,000 of those loans under $150,000, 75%, and we guarantee 85% of those loans over $150,000. Well, for PPP, we are guaranteeing 100% of the loan. No collateral is needed or personal guarantees, and that's important. So we felt if you were to apply and then ask for loan forgiveness is important. So what about loan forgiveness? If you applied prior to June 5th for the PPP, the loan forgiveness would grant you 75% of that loan had to be used on payroll. 25% of that loan is to be used on mortgage interest, rent or lease payments, and utilities. And utilities include anything from cable, water, sewer, gas, electric, internet, transportation costs, all those costs. So it was a 75%, 25% usage over an 8-week period after initial disbursement of funds. After June 5th, a new interim final rule was passed, which allowed business owners to take the loan and utilize 60% of the loan on payroll, 40% on mortgage interest, rent, lease, and utilities over a 24-week period. So there are two forms. There's the Form 3508 and the 3508EZ. The 3508EZ, if you're a sole proprietor independent contractor, that's the form you use. And those forms can be found at the Treasury, on the Treasury website, as well as the SBA website. Critical and very important in this and the EIDL loan, well, not the EIDL, but this loan and any other SBA-backed loan. Relationships are extremely important, and I am certain you will hear that this morning on the call. If you do not have an established relationship with your financial institution, it's very critical to do so. It's also important for you to go back to your financial institution for PPP questions, because that's where the initial processing starts. The application is processed by your lender, then passed up to us, and then it's going to be managed at that level. So very important that you follow that kind of guidance. Now, in terms of whether or not we are going to have another iteration of PPP, we really don't know. We are hoping that something happens today because there's still over $125 billion left in PPP. The economic injury disaster loan doesn't end until the end of December, and that program is ongoing. So if you're interested, you might want to apply for the EIDL loan, because it's a working capital loan. So you can have an EIDL and PPP loan as long as you don't use EIDL funds for PPP or payroll, rather. And again, you know, EIDL is very important because working capital, any accounts payable, working capital, any fixed debts that a person couldn't utilize, or for debts that you normally would pay on a monthly basis, rather, I apologize, you use it for that purpose. And the reason we ask folks to apply for both is you've got this working capital need, you've got the payroll need over here. You can combine the two, and the EIDL loan is for small businesses is 3.75% interest rate, 2.75 for nonprofits. It's a 30-year terms, 12-month deferment, and so it's helped a lot of people. There was an advance portion of that loan. That advance went away. We spent $20 billion on the advance, which is a forgivable advance, by the way. So if you have both, that's great. That's fine. You can apply for both. You can have both at the same time. Just can't use EIDL for payroll. You can use it for working capital. Use PPP for payroll, and I think you'll be fine. For resources, you can always find us. One other thing about PPP and SBA, we do have a debt relief program. So what's happening if you currently have a 7A or 504 loan and you've got PPP, we are paying your loan for the next 6 months to include interest and all that stuff. So for the next 6 months, we'll be paying off all those loans. So don't worry about making a payment while you're going through this pandemic. And that's important. So you can always go to www.sba.gov for more information. And you can also go to the Treasury website for information. You can contact me, Thaddeus Hammond, at thaddeus.hammond@sba.gov, or contact me by telephone. And again, it's very important. Our resource partners, I just want to say thank you so much to before I finish, thank you so much to our resource partner network. They have done a Herculean effort in helping us help small businesses apply for and process the paperwork needed or necessary for our PPP loans as well as the EIDL loans. In particular, our Florida Small Business Development Center, they did a yeoman's job on the State of Florida Emergency Bridge Loan Program, as they always do. PPP and EIDL, SCORE, the Veteran Business Outreach Center, as well as the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. So with that, I'm Thaddeus. That's my time, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this morning.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Thaddeus. That was very, very helpful information, and thank you for the resources and tools. Now we're going to actually pass it over to Sharif, and he's actually supported by Kamal Gasper, and we're going to talk about some ways to position individuals for financial wellness.
All right, good morning. Can everybody hear me? Perfect.
Yes,
Well, thank you for that introduction, Chris. To everyone, my name is Sharif White. I am one of the Vystar at Work program representatives for Vystar Credit Union, and I am the assistant branch manager of the Julington Creek branch of Vystar right here in St. Johns County, Florida. Again, I just want to thank everyone who was able to join us for today's Zoom meetings and panelist presentations. And thank you to everyone, at the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce and Vystar for this amazing opportunity. So guys, I want to dive right in with the presentation. So here at Vystar Credit Union, we were founded back in 1952, and we strive every day to help our members by concentrating on 4 key areas that we find, no matter your stage in life or income level, these are vital for your financial success, okay? So the first area that we focus on is membership. So in order to be a member of Vystar, in order to bank with Vystar, you do have to first be a member of Vystar. And then as an added bonus, once you're a member of Vystar, you also own Vystar. And that'll be something that we talk about a little later on in the presentation. But along with your membership, this is where we're going to help you manage your day-to-day finances, okay? So now this can include helping you set up direct deposit with your employer, showing you the ease and convenience of paying bills, teaching you how to properly budget, and we want to take the time to help you build up a savings or emergency fund for you and for your family, okay? Now, a couple of facts about Vystar. We are the 4th largest financial institution in Northeast Florida, and we're the 15th largest in the entire country. Now, the second area that we focus on is loans, right? So at some point in time, everyone has either, applied for a loan, needed a loan, and this is where we're going to help you finance your major purchases. So again, at some point in time, you may be interested in buying a home, a new car, and if you guys are anything like me, you may also be interested in buying a boat one day. So members and potential members can meet with a financial advocate, just like myself, to discuss ways on how we can increase your cash flow while also restructuring and depleting some of your existing debt. Now, guys, Vystar Credit Union has such a unique set of lending options. So if you are looking for a home, there are no closing costs or mortgages, right? So you can save that for you and for your family. If you are in the market for a new car, there are no car payments for the first 90 days. So right off the bat, you can save up the first 3 months of payments for you and for your family. And then last but not least, if you have any kind of credit card balances or any kind of credit card debt that you want to pay down or get rid of, we can help you take care of that. Our balance transfers are free. And for the first year, you can also receive as low as 0% for the first year of you having a credit card with us. All right. And that's just to name a few options that we have for you. And then another fact about Vystar, we're also the largest mortgage lender in Northeast Florida. Now, the third area that we focus on is investments, right? And whenever we're talking about investments or thinking about investments, we're basically looking at your long-term goals, okay? So whether that's retirement, home ownership, putting your kids through college or post-secondary education, this is where we're going to help you grow, manage, and preserve your money and making sure that your money is going to work for you in the long run, right? So at no cost or obligation, members and potential members can meet with a trusted advisor to help you build a plan for all of life's biggest journeys. And then the fourth and final area that we focus on is insurance. So helping you protect yourself, your family, and your valued property. Now, we recommend that all of our members take advantage of the capabilities that we have in this area to ensure that you're getting the best coverage and service for your insurance needs. Now, we all know life has a lot of unexpected challenges, so it's great to have that financial peace of mind in those times. As an added bonus, Vystar recently just opened up our own insurance agency and department. So we've been able to help hundreds of members save money on homeowners insurance, auto insurance, renters and flood insurance by having a simple and easy and free conversation with one of our insurance specialists. So we also have that option for you as well, okay? So those are the 4 key areas that we focus on here at Vystar. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and just kind of talk about the credit union difference. And I also want to think about what's the difference between a bank and a credit union, because they work very differently, right? So by definition, a credit union is a nonprofit, member-owned financial institution operating on the principles of people helping people. Being member-owned means that members of the credit union also own a share of the company. Now, since the founding of the first credit unions over 150 years ago, the credit union movement has been steadfast on the strong belief that people are way more important than dollars. So because Vystar is a credit union and a nonprofit, that means that all of the money that we make goes right back into the pockets of our members in a lot of different ways, right? So here at Vystar, we have a favorite 4-letter word when it comes to your accounts, and that word is called free. Right, so all of your accounts here at Vystar Credit Union are free. There are no minimum balances you need to keep in the account for any reason. There are no monthly service fees that we're going to charge you at all. We're also able to build more branches and ATMs to make banking more convenient for our members. And then historically, credit unions also offer lower interest rates, right? So if we're looking for a home, car, credit card, or any other kind of loan or lending services, we want to offer you lower interest rates to keep money in your pockets for you and for your family, all right? And then we're literally going to put the money back into the pockets of our members by being able to pay out higher dividends at the end of each month. So by simply being Vystar members, we're going to add to those balances at the end of each month, because again, we want to take the time to help you build up a savings or emergency fund just in case anything happens for you and for your family. All right. So guys, I've given you a quick background of Vystar. I shared just a couple of credit union, values and the difference between a bank and a credit union. But now I kind of want to talk about, what financial wellness is, and what does it mean to everyone who's on this Zoom meeting with us, right? So with financial wellness, it's very simply put, it's the process of successfully managing your financial expenses, right? So we all know that money plays a very important role in our lives. So sometimes not having enough of it, or maybe not managing your money wise enough or well enough, that can impact a lot of different areas, okay? So research tells us that 70% of Americans are financially stressed. 70% is a large portion of of the country. Now, what this means is that if anyone does fall into that 70% category, this means that you are 5 times more likely to be distracted at work by your finances. This also means that you are more likely to have health issues, right? Because we know that health and finance go hand in hand. And I know I kind of briefly touched on retirement just a little bit, but I understand that everyone aspires to retire at some point, right? And along with that, you may also need, a couple $100,000 or maybe a few $1 million to retire nowadays. But the reality of it is that 51% of people have saved $50,000 or less for retirement. Okay, and that $50,000 is not going to take you very far, right? So even so, United Way actually did a study on this, and it's called an Alice study. Now, with this study, United Way was able to collect data from every county in the state of Florida, and with the information, they were able to see what percentage of people were living. What percentage of people in each county were living 1 paycheck away from being homeless or filing bankruptcy. Okay, so I'm going to throw a couple more numbers at you guys. If you live or work in St. Johns County, 28% of St. Johns County was living 1 paycheck away from being homeless or filing bankruptcy. If you live or work in Clay County, 37% of Clay County was living 1 paycheck away from being homeless or filing bankruptcy. And then last but not least, if you live or work in Duval County, 40% of Duval County was living 1 paycheck away from being homeless or filing bankruptcy. Okay. Now, what these numbers tell me, and hopefully they tell everyone connected on the call with us this morning, is that these could be people that we know, right? So family, friends, co-workers, colleagues. But here at Vystar Credit Union, we believe that we have the tools to continuously decrease these numbers in our communities and ensure that our communities stay financially fit, right? Because if we take those numbers a little bit further, if we look out into the world now, with everyone being affected by COVID-19 and the coronavirus, these numbers have probably increased significantly in just the last couple of months, okay? So I'm going to pass it over to Kamal, who's going to talk about just the few tools that we have. And here's Kamal for you guys.
All right. Hello, good morning. We're socially distancing here in St. Johns County. And what I wanted to mention was just really follow up on what Sharif talked about, why financial wellness is important. And so it's if you see my hands, it's all interwoven together. So he mentioned it. If you're financially stressed, the likelihood of you being physically and mentally stressed is interwoven. It's very likely. And so kind of getting back to the why, and for the small business owners and maybe even the employees of small businesses, if you're more financially fit, you'll be more stable and more productive at work. And that's the idea of a financial wellness program. So if there's one thing that we could touch on as it relates to financial wellness, and I know Trey is going next, he'll discuss this individually, what you can do. If you're a small business owner, think about offering a financial wellness program for your employees. It's not just okay now to offer dental and medical and vision and 401k. A lot of employees are financially stressed. So maybe they don't have enough money to get to work. They don't have enough gas money. So they have to stay home, so they have to call out. Maybe that individual doesn't have the money to pay a babysitter. So the idea is that if you can wrap around your employees and offer a financial wellness program in addition to your other benefits, you will have a more healthier workforce, and it may increase retention. It may decrease turnover. And so that's the things that Vystar focuses on. We just don't focus on financial wellness for individuals. We also help our business owners with financial wellness. And so one thing I want to mention, I know the chamber is going to be sending out a presentation or a deck after the call. There is something that Vystar pays for that's called Balance. And Balance is a credit counseling agency that we offer our members at no cost. And the reason why we do that is, as a credit union and one of the largest credit unions in Northeast Florida and the state, is that it helps and supports our mission to bring more credit union solutions to more people. And we use Balance so our individuals and our members and communities can call Balance and get free third-party financial wellness consultation. Anyone on this call can access it. Anyone that is in Vystar's footprint can access it. So we will make sure that even if you're not a Vystar member, you can access Balance credit counseling to talk to someone about reducing debt, increasing your credit score. Maybe you have individuals, nieces, nephews, children, grandkids that are looking to go to college. You can call Balance and they will go and walk with you side by side to talk about your financial situation and help you reach your goals, in addition to Vystar doing that as well. So I'm going to throw it back over to Chris, and thank you. And we really appreciate the time that you've given us to talk about Vystar's financial wellness program.
Yes, thank you, Kamal, and thank you, Sharif. Fantastic information. Really, really appreciate that. And as you already mentioned, now we're going to pass it over to, last but not least, Trey, who's going to talk about some of the individual plans and how to plan for the different stages of life. All yours, Trey.
How about now? Is that better? Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for joining. Like Chris said, I'm Trey with Vystar Investment Services. I cover part of St. Johns County along with a couple other advisors. Most of you are probably aware of Vystar Credit Union. We've had a presence in the community, like Kamal said, for 70 years now, or just about. What most people don't know is that we've got, for the last 18 years, a fully functioning brokerage firm operating within the credit union. We manage over $750 million of members' assets. Vystar Investment Services. We have 17 fully licensed financial advisors. We have a wide range of investment solutions that are appropriate for those that are just getting started, as well as business owners to high net worth clients that require a little bit more complex planning. And as Thaddeus explains, most of you are aware of the CARES Act, or at least certain parts of it. But there's more to the CARES Act than the PPP loans and economic relief checks and some of the business loan programs. The CARES Act, which was the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, provides individuals and businesses different avenues to seek relief. So several of those provisions involve their retirement accounts. So with the three major revisions that we want to kind of touch on is revisions to the 10% early withdrawal penalty on retirement accounts like 401ks, IRAs, and other employer-sponsored plans. An increase to the amount of the loans that are available from your 401ks or employer plans, and a suspension of most of the 2020 required minimum distributions from those plans. To expand a little bit more on the 10% early withdrawal penalty, typically if you're under 59.5 years old and you attempt to take a distribution from your retirement account, unrelated to a hardship, you would be responsible for paying a 10% penalty to the IRS, plus the taxes that would be owed on that money, on the gross amount of that distribution. To allow consumers greater access to funds during these uncertain times, that penalty is now waived for any distribution up to $100,000. The individuals who take advantage of these distributions, they still owe taxes on the money, but the penalty is waived. However, you would have the ability to spread those tax liabilities out over a 3-year period. You'll also have the ability to return or pay back those distributions to those respective retirement accounts over the course of 3 years, potentially avoiding any tax liability that may otherwise arise. And one of the things that were changed about the 401k loans is that typically while loans are always permitted from your 401ks or retirement plans, those loans are generally limited to 50,000 or 50% of the vested balance of the plan. During the coronavirus pandemic, any loan taken from the account between March 27th and September 22nd of this year, that loan threshold has been increased to 100,000 or 100% of your vested balance, whichever is less. This measure was provided to give consumers more access to their funds without having to take taxable distribution from their accounts. There have been a few other changes to the required minimum distribution rules from 401ks or retirement accounts. On January 1st of this year, the federal government passed the SECURE Act. One of the provisions in that law was to extend the age that you had to start taking required minimum distributions from 70.5 to 72. And for those RMDs taken after 2019. Now, in addition to that rule that was put into place at the beginning of the year, the CARES Act has suspended any RMDs from 401ks and IRAs that were due in 2020. And that includes 2019 distributions that were due April 1st of this year. So these revisions were made to lessen the taxable impact to consumers on these distributions. As these RMDs are taken, they're generally considered taxable income. And depending on the size of retirement account, it could be substantial. If consumers need those funds, they're still able to take them as scheduled and pay taxes they may owe. This will not affect the amount of RMDs that are calculated, how the RMD is calculated moving forward. So some key takeaways, there are several ways that consumers can access their own funds or leverage their retirement accounts during these times to take care of their families, their businesses, or themselves. We can help set up IRAs or 401ks for your business or employees. If you already have investment accounts, we may also be able to help you out with those. Also, if you needed an additional source of lending, we also have programs that would allow you to borrow against your investments without having to sell your securities. So you could remain invested in the market while leveraging those funds and still accessing cash using those securities as collateral. So there's pros and cons to each of these decisions. If you're not comfortable making these decisions for yourself, please reach out to a trusted advisor. If you don't have one, please give my team a call at 904-908-2495. And that's all I got, Chris. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Trey. That was awesome information, and we really, really appreciate your time today. We did have one question come through, and it looks like it came from Andrea, or I think it's Andrea Staten, and I think it was directed towards Sharif and Kamal, and I see you responded in the chat, Sharif. But if you could expand just a little bit on it, would businesses currently with Vystar business accounts be able to offer its employees access to financial counseling, or simply refer them to Vystar directly to become members?
Hey, yes, Chris, hey, Chris, we're back. So yes, so if there is an employee of a participating organization or a member of Vystar, there's a couple ways that we connect with employees. So we can come on site if it's safe and talk to employees about financial wellness at a staff meeting, or maybe a morning huddle, or a safety meeting, or a sales meeting. So that's one way we can do it. We also offer financial wellness presentations. So some companies like to do lunch and learns, again, if it's safe, where we can come in and talk about a specific topic that would resonate with your employees, or we've pivoted to virtual financial wellness presentations. If it's not safe to come on site, we could actually do a virtual presentation for your employees. And Chris, we also do one-on-one consultations, so maybe it doesn't fit within the time frame or it's not safe to come on site. We could actually set up one-on-one times to talk with employees about their specific financial situation.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kamal. Really, really appreciate it. And I just wanted to open it up and see if there were any outstanding questions, any questions anyone had. I know we got to the one in the chat, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot them at any one of our panelists.
Hi, this is Kathy. I have a question that was submitted a couple days ago via email. I'm going to read it just because that has some context to it. And I think perhaps Thaddeus, this might be something that you could help us with. I think it actually does relate to quite a few businesses here in our county, as in many of the businesses are smaller businesses, or solo, solopreneurs, sole practitioners, that kind of thing. So here goes. I officially launched my business in May of 2019. Although I registered my business several months before that. As with many startup businesses, I have needed to invest in the business by providing services without payment, so as to have examples of the work on my website and otherwise build goodwill. It's a new and innovative concept, so we've had to educate the public about what we do. I've invested considerably in social media, advertising, networking, and other forms of getting out into the community, and have paid all of the income since launch to my vendors. As such, I have zero payroll for myself and don't think that I can qualify for any PPP loan or the EIDL loan. It's my understanding that I can't qualify for unemployment as well because I'm a contractor without any prior monthly income. So the question truly is, in a situation like this, we've gotten, in COVID, it's hard for certain businesses to get in front of people or to go into people's homes and do what their services are. So at this point in time, the business is really not operating as it would in best case scenario. Would anyone on the panel know what resources or options or what might be available to help struggling businesses like this, weather the storm?
Well, I think for us, I think the economic injury disaster loan is perfectly suited for her needs. She started the business prior to 15 February 2020. She's got a lot of payments being made out, debts that she normally would cover in normal times, but due to the coronavirus epidemic, she couldn't make those payments. So any of your fixed debts, any accounts payable, anything you would pay on a monthly basis where otherwise you but because of the pandemic, you would be able to make those payments. That's the reason they established the economic injury disaster loan. So I would say, go to COVID-19 relief.sba.gov, make the application. It's about 4 pages, and I think you'll find that you'll get some relief. PPP, not so sure. although independent contractors 1099s are eligible with payroll, but for you, I believe the route to go is the idle loan. Hope that helps.
Definitely does. Thank you very much, Thaddeus. Great information. I want to thank everybody really on behalf of the Chamber and appreciate the time that all of our panelists had for us today. And, you know, Thaddeus Hammond, of course, the U.S. Small Business Administration, Sharif White from Vystar Credit Union, and then Trey Seabury of Vystar Investment Services as well. And I really appreciate all the knowledge and the expertise that you guys shared today. It was really helpful, really helpful information. Thank you so much. Special little shout out to Kamal, Vystar Work Program Manager, and Lauren Schultz, the Business Development Specialist and Licensed Insurance Agent with Vystar Investment Services. They really partnered and worked really closely with the Chamber to organize today's introductory Chamber workshop. So kudos, and we really appreciate it. And there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scene to make this thing happen. So we really do appreciate it. We did, as Kathy mentioned earlier, we did record today's discussion, and it will be uploaded to the Chamber's website for playback at a later date. We do invite you to visit the Chamber's website at www.sjcchamber.com, and follow the Chamber on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram for additional information and resources to assist you in your business. Thank you to all of my fellow Chamber members and to all of our guests for your participation in today's workshop.